The universe's greatest heroes fell, silent watching humans train. HFY Stories. Best HFY Stories. The stars stretched endlessly across the black canvas of space, twinkling like scattered diamonds. The cruiser Elysium Vanguard drifted silently through a distant sector of the galaxy. Inside, the universe's greatest heroes watched the humans. The Gravith commander, tall and silver-scaled, leaned against the observation deck railing. His eyes, glowing faintly green, followed the humans' movements on a dusty asteroid world below. Beside him, the Zarathi strategist, with 6 arms and sharp crimson eyes, adjusted a holographic display. The Wyalthari warrior, a being of shifting colors and forms, hovered silently, its gaze fixed on the human small training camp. "They're only humans," the Zarathi said, voice sharp and almost bored. "What can they do against even our basic drills?" The Gravith commander did not respond. Instead, he studied the humans, a quiet curiosity in his gaze. Down below, the humans moved with the clumsy grace of amateurs, or so it seemed. Dust swirled around their boots as they ran across the rocky terrain. They were dressed in worn armor and carried basic weapons, but their eyes burned with determination. At the center of the camp, Cass Ranger, a human sharpshooter, crouched behind a jagged rock. She studied a small droid crawling toward her, its sensors blinking red. Without hesitation, she rolled sideways, fired a precise shot, and disabled the droid's circuits with a perfect hit. "Nice shot," muttered her teammate, Jace Holloway, a lanky engineer with a grin that never left his face. "You're making the aliens watch us now." Cass smirked. "Let them watch. They'll learn what humans are made of." The aliens aboard Elysium Vanguard were silent. They had watched countless species train, many of them strong, fast, and disciplined. But humans were different. They made mistakes, yes, but each mistake seemed to teach them something new, something no algorithm or simulation could predict. The humans moved to their next exercise, a mock assault on a series of rocky outposts. They had no advanced weapons or shields. Instead, they relied on speed, coordination, and creativity. Cass signaled her team with hand gestures, and they spread out, darting from rock to rock, each step calculated yet unpredictable. "Watch their formations," the Gravith commander muttered. "They're improvising again." And it's working. Indeed, the humans did something no alien army expected. They split into 2 groups, creating a feint that drew the training drone's fire toward empty rocks. Then, from behind a ridge, they launched a counterattack that disabled the drones entirely. Every movement was fluid, almost instinctive, but with a clear strategy behind it. "How?" whispered the Ylthari warrior. Its voice was like a ripple of wind through crystal. "They defy logic." "Not defying logic," the Gravith commander corrected. "They are creating it as they go." Back on the planet, the humans cheered quietly. Jace patted Cass on the shoulder. "I swear, the aliens watching this must be losing their minds." Cass laughed softly. Let them see how humans fight." Their training was not only about combat skills. It was about survival, teamwork, and thinking under pressure. The humans moved to a new exercise, navigating the narrow canyons while carrying heavy supplies. The rocks were sharp, the paths narrow, and one wrong step could send a person tumbling into a ravine. Cass led the way, her boots crunching on gravel. She stopped suddenly, noticing a loose boulder. With quick thinking, she tied a rope to it, creating a makeshift bridge for her teammates. The others followed, impressed and slightly exhausted. "Every time they come up with something new," said the Zarathi strategist, arms crossed. "It's not possible. No species should think this fast under pressure." The Gravith commander did not respond immediately. He studied the humans, his mind tracing patterns of movement, predicting outcomes, and realizing that prediction was often useless. Humans were unpredictable, not random, but creative. That was something no alien species had mastered. Cass and her team finally reached the top of a ridge overlooking the entire training area. The sun, or what passed for it on this asteroid, was setting, casting long shadows across the rocky terrain. The humans stood in silence, catching their breath, watching the horizon. "This," Cass whispered, "is why we train. So when real danger comes, we survive. And probably make a few aliens wonder if we're insane." High above, the Gravith commander spoke to the others quietly. "They are not just learning. They are evolving. I have seen nothing like it in 10,000 cycles." The humans were unaware of the alien observers. They continued their drills, now practicing communication and coordination under simulated attack conditions. They shouted warnings, relayed positions, and moved as one unit despite their differences. The aliens watched in stunned silence. Even the Yelthari, who had never been easily impressed, shifted its color in amazement. The humans' determination, ingenuity, and courage were unlike anything in the galaxy. "Prepare a report for the Council," said the Gravith commander finally. "These humans, they may be the galaxy's most unexpected warriors." The Zarathi strategist shook her head. "I still can't believe it. How can such a fragile species handle this?" "Fragile?" the Gravith commander replied, his voice low. "Perhaps, but there is strength in creativity and courage. And humans have both, in abundance." As night fell over the asteroid, Cass and her team gathered around a small campfire, sharing rations and laughter. The stars above seemed brighter, the silence of space comforting rather than cold. "I think they'll be talking about us in the alien councils," Jace said, tossing a small piece of bread into the fire. "They won't understand how humans do what we do." Cass smiled. "Let them wonder. We don't need them to understand. We just need to keep getting better. Keep surviving. Keep fighting." And somewhere far above, in the quiet of the Elysium Vanguard, the universe's greatest heroes fell silent, watching humans train. They had seen many species rise and fall, many warriors test their limits, many battles fought across light years, but they had never seen anyone like the humans. Not disciplined like the Gravith, not methodical like the Zorathi, not ancient like the Yolthari. Humans were something new, a mixture of recklessness and brilliance, fear and courage, weakness and strength. And as the humans laughed and shared stories by the fire, the aliens realized something unsettling. These humans, these fragile-looking, resourceful, stubborn beings, might just change the galaxy. The Gravith commander turned away from the observation window, deep in thought. "Keep watching," he said softly. "We have much to learn, and perhaps much to fear." Below, the humans prepared for the next day's training, unaware of the eyes upon them. But for those who watched silently from the stars, one truth became clear. The universe's greatest heroes had never faced anything like this before. And they might never be the same again. The humans awoke to a new day on the dusty asteroid world. The sky above was pale orange, and jagged rocks cast long shadows across the terrain. There was no time for leisure. Today, the alien observers would take the humans to the next level, the arena of interstellar combat simulations. Cass Ranger stretched, flexing her shoulders. Jace Holloway was already tinkering with a small device, frowning at it in concentration. Around him, the rest of their team prepared supplies, double-checking weapons and communication gear. "Looks like they're finally going to test us," Jace said, glancing at Cass. "I hope they don't blow us up by accident." Cass smirked. "If they do, at least we'll go out doing what we do best, surviving." Within hours, the humans were transported to the arena. It floated in orbit around a gas giant, a massive structure of metal and energy fields designed to simulate the deadliest environments in the galaxy. Mountains, rivers of molten metal, alien vegetation, and shifting terrain created obstacles at every turn. The aliens watched from a control room aboard the arena's observation deck. The Gravith commander's green eyes narrowed as the humans stepped onto the platform. "They will not survive this easily," the Zarathi strategist said, 6 arms crossed, each fingertip tapping in thought. "They are clever, yes, but even cleverness has limits." "Limits are meant to be tested," replied the Gravith commander. "Watch closely." The arena's doors opened, and humans found themselves facing a series of holographic drones. They were not ordinary drones. They adapted, learned, and anticipated attacks. The humans had to think quickly, or risk being overwhelmed. Cass's eyes scanned the battlefield. "All right, team. Stick to Plan Alpha, but be ready to change on the fly. Move." The humans darted into action. Jace activated a small device, creating a temporary shield to block incoming fire. Cass sprinted forward, using cover to dodge the drone's beams. Every human moved differently, yet their actions complemented one another as if guided by a single mind. The first wave of drones pressed harder. They were fast, precise, and relentless. But the humans were unpredictable. One moment they were defending a narrow canyon. The next, they appeared behind enemy lines, attacking from angles the drones did not anticipate. Above, the Gravith commander's eyes widened. They anticipate the drone's reactions and change their own movements mid-attack. The Zarathi strategist leaned closer to the display. Impossible. No species adapts this quickly in real time. It is unsettling. Cass noticed a particular drone that seemed faster than the others, almost like it was learning her every move. She ducked behind a metal pillar, then triggered a device hidden in her belt. A bright pulse of energy disrupted the drone's sensors, sending it crashing into a simulated rock wall. "Got it!" she yelled, grinning. Jace looked over at her, laughing. "Cass, you just made the fastest drone in the arena look like a rookie." The drones regrouped, forming a wall of energy shields that seemed impossible to penetrate. But the humans were not done. Using the combination of ropes, grappling hooks, and quick thinking, they scaled the arena's walls, dodged energy barriers, and struck from above. Every move was a mix of skill, creativity, and pure human audacity. The Graph Commander whispered to himself, "They're doing what no alien army has ever managed, turning the environment itself into a weapon." The wild Thari, shifting colors rapidly in astonishment, said softly, "I cannot predict them. Their minds, they flow like water, never stopping, never repeating." Hours passed in the arena, though it felt like minutes to the humans. They moved as a team, communicating silently, improvising when necessary, and constantly learning from the holographic drones. Even when the drones adapted to their tactics, the humans adapted faster. Cass noticed one simulation cornered them, a canyon filled with molten streams and collapsing terrain. The drones seemed unbeatable here, and one wrong step could mean failure. "Split up!" Cass shouted. "Use the rocks for cover. Jace, the control panel!" Jace sprinted toward a floating control console and began tapping keys frantically. Sparks flew as he rerouted energy fields, creating a temporary path across the molten streams. The rest of the humans moved carefully, timing each step with precision. They reached the other side, but the drones were closing in fast. Cass climbed a jagged rock and fired a calculated shot, triggering a chain reaction that sent several drones crashing into each other. "Everyone all right?" she asked, breathing heavily. "Barely," muttered another teammate, wiping sweat from her brow. "But we made it." Above, the Gravith commander exhaled slowly. "They are not only surviving, they are thriving. They learn faster than we anticipate." The arena's holographic environment shifted again, this time creating a forest of alien trees that emitted pulses of energy. The humans had to navigate the maze while the drones hunted them relentlessly. Cass noticed patterns in the drones' movements, predicting their next steps. "Follow me. We can make it through if we stick together and stay unpredictable." They ran, ducked, and climbed, using every skill they had developed on the frontier worlds. Jace rigged traps that caused the drones to collide with each other. Cass used her sharpshooting to disable the most dangerous drones first. Slowly they advanced, never losing coordination, never panicking. The Grav Commander leaned forward, impressed beyond measure. "I have never seen this before. Their minds, they create possibilities out of nothing. They turn chaos into strategy." The Zarathi strategist's arms twitched nervously. "I must admit their ingenuity surpasses my expectations. They are remarkable." At the arena's edge, the humans faced the final test, a massive drone programmed to analyze and counter every human action. It was larger, faster, and smarter than any drone they had faced so far. Cass's team paused, catching their breath. "This one's different," Jay said quietly. "It's learning, really learning." Cass nodded. "Then we'll have to teach it something it can't predict." The humans split into 3 groups. One created distractions, moving erratically to confuse the drone. Another group climbed higher terrain, setting traps and preparing to strike from above. Cass herself moved in close, reading the drone's attack patterns. It attacked first, fast and precise. Cass dodged, rolled, and fired at a weak point in its armor. The drone adjusted, predicting her movements, but the humans had anticipated this. They used unpredictability, improvisation, and teamwork in ways the drone could not calculate. Finally, with a coordinated attack, they disabled the massive drone. It fell to the ground with a crash, sparks flying from its circuits. Cass looked at her team, breathing heavily. We did it. All of it. Above, the Gravith commander remained silent for a long moment. Then he spoke, voice low and full of respect. They are unlike any species I have ever encountered. They do not fight like us. They fight like humans. The Waithari's voice was filled with awe. I have studied countless species, yet none move as they do. Their creativity, it is infinite. Zarathi strategist finally admitted, voice trembling slightly. They are extraordinary. The humans gathered, exhausted but smiling. They did not know the aliens were watching, nor did they understand the magnitude of the respect they had earned. For them, it had been another day of training, another challenge overcome through skill and courage. Cass looked at the arena floor, her eyes thoughtful. We're good, but we can be better. Always better. That's how humans survive. Jace laughed, still catching his breath. Better, huh? Next, they'll want us to fight a supernova or something? Let them watch. Let them see humans at their best. And somewhere high above, in the silent observation deck of the Elysium Vanguard, the universe's greatest heroes remained speechless. They had expected humans to struggle, maybe even fail. But humans had done the impossible. They had turned a deadly simulation into a showcase of ingenuity, courage, and raw determination. They will change the way the galaxy sees strength, whispered the Gravith commander. Not through power, but through mind, heart, and courage. The humans, unaware of their observers, prepared for the next day. Their bodies were tired, their minds alert, but their spirits unbroken. They had proven something, even if only to themselves. Humans were unpredictable, unstoppable when working together, and capable of rising above any challenge. And the aliens, silent, awed, and deeply impressed, realized that the humans were not just learners. They were teachers, showing the galaxy a new kind of strength, one that relied on creativity, courage, and the unbreakable human spirit. The Grav commander looked at his companions. We must watch closely. These humans, they may be the future of the galaxy. And as the humans rested under the pale glow of the arena lights, none of them suspected the truth. In watching them, the universe's greatest heroes had been humbled. The desert planet stretched endlessly beneath a blood-red sky. Its surface was cracked and dry, scattered with jagged rock formations, deep canyons and dust storms that could strip the paint off a ship. The humans stepped off their transport boots, sinking slightly into the coarse sand. This was no training arena. This was real. This place is worse than any simulation, muttered Jace Holloway, adjusting the strap of his backpack. I didn't think sand could get into everywhere. Cass Ranger squinted against the harsh sunlight, scanning the horizon. Her sharp eyes caught movement near the canyon edges. Stay alert. This isn't just a planet. It's a battlefield. Their mission was simple in theory: defend a small human colony while being tested by the Alien Council. But simplicity was a lie. Alien mercenaries, trained, heavily armed, and relentless, would attack from all sides. The humans had to rely on brains, courage, and every trick they had learned in the frontier worlds. The first wave came before the humans even finished scouting. Drones and mercenaries moved with precision, cutting through the air like predatory birds. They expected humans to run, to panic. Cass did the opposite. Positions, she yelled. Use the rocks, the canyons, everything. We fight smart, not just fast. The humans split, moving as a single organism in 3 groups. One group used the canyons for cover, creating sniper positions. Another set traps with ropes, rocks, and energy pulses from their makeshift devices. Cass led the central assault team, moving unpredictably to draw enemy fire away from the others. The first exchange was brutal. Beams of energy cut across the air, kicking up dust and sand. But the humans were nimble. Jace rigged a rock slide that blocked the enemy advance. Another teammate, Lara Quinn, lured a squad into a narrow canyon where their size and armor worked against them. Who taught these humans strategy? Whispered a Zorathi observer, high above, his 6 arms clenching in disbelief. They don't think like us, the Gravith commander replied quietly. They adapt, they improvise, and they learn from every move. Cass spotted the enemy commander, a tall alien with glowing blue armor, coordinating attacks from a ridge. She signaled Jace. We take him out, the rest will hesitate. That's our chance. Jace nodded. He sprinted up the canyon path, narrowly avoiding incoming fire. With a quick adjustment to his energy pulse device, he sent a wave that knocked out communications among the enemy squads. Chaos rippled through their ranks. Cass led the central team, firing precise shots and dodging behind rocks. She spotted an opportunity. The alien commander had exposed himself while signaling a retreat. Without hesitation, Cass fired, hitting the control device on his armor. Sparks flew, and the commander tumbled into a crevice. The alien soldiers faltered. They hadn't expected such audacity, such precision from humans. It was unlike anything they had faced. Move! Cass shouted. Push them back! The humans advanced, not with brute force, but with intelligence. They anticipated enemy movements, used traps, and forced the aliens into difficult terrain. Narrow canyons slowed the larger mercenaries. Dust storms created cover for sudden attacks. Every rock, every shadow, every shift in wind became a tool. The The aliens tried to regroup, but the humans had already predicted this. Cass signaled her team to split again, moving like shadows across the battlefield. One human would attack from behind, another would cut off retreat, and another would use improvised energy pulses to create confusion. The alien forces, despite superior numbers, could not match the humans' adaptability. Above, the alien council was silent. The Whalethree's colors shifted rapidly in astonishment. "They do not fight with strength or fear," it said. "They fight with creativity." "Creativity?" muttered the Zarathi strategist. "This is war, not art." The Gravith commander shook his head. "Creativity is survival. Humans survive because they do not rely on rules. They create rules as they go." The battle intensified as a sandstorm swept across the desert, reducing visibility to near zero. The aliens thought this would give them the advantage. Instead, the humans thrived. Using tactile signals and prearranged patterns, they moved silently through the storm, striking where the enemy least expected. Cass climbed a high ridge, feeling the grit sting her eyes. She adjusted her rifle and picked off a squad attempting a flanking maneuver. Her teammates disabled vehicles and energy drones with clever traps. The humans turned the storm itself into a weapon, using wind and debris to mask their movements and disorient the enemy. Hours passed in the burning desert heat. The humans were tired, scratched, and covered in sand, but they never stopped. Each challenge only made them sharper, faster, smarter. Cass paused, surveying the battlefield. The enemy's morale was faltering. They were confused, frustrated, and unable to predict human actions. "It was exactly what you wanted." "Final push," Cass said, voice firm. "We hit them where it hurts and finish this." Her team split, moving in perfect coordination. They drove the aliens into a narrow canyon lined with jagged rocks. Jace triggered a makeshift rock slide while Lara created an energy barrier that blocked escape routes. Cass and two others launched the final assault, precise, fast, and relentless. The alien soldiers stumbled, trapped by their own momentum and terrain. The alien commander, the one Cass had disabled earlier, attempted to intervene, but humans anticipated him. A coordinated strike from 3 angles forced him down, finally ending the battle. The dust settled. The humans, battered and exhausted, stood victorious, not because of superior firepower or numbers, but because of ingenuity, teamwork, and courage. They had turned the desert itself into an ally, transforming disadvantage into advantage. High above, the Gravith commander, the Whalethre, and the Zarathi strategist remained silent. This time their silence was heavier, more profound. They had seen countless species fight. They had seen empires rise and fall. But humans were different. "They are not just soldiers," whispered the Gravith commander. "They are a force of nature." The Whalethre's voice shimmered. "I do not know if they are merely intelligent or something extraordinary." The Zarathi strategist, usually so precise and confident, finally admitted in a low tone, "They may surpass us all. I see it now." Cass and her team returned to the colony, battered but proud. The human settlers cheered. They had survived, defended their home, and proved something crucial. Humans could face overwhelming odds and survive through brains, courage, and unity. Jace clapped Cass on the shoulder. "We really did it, didn't we?" Cass smiled, looking at the weary but smiling faces of her team. "Yes, but the galaxy will never make it easy. That's why we train. That's why humans survive." Night fell over the desert planet. Fires burned low, and the humans settled to rest, their bodies aching but their spirits unbroken. They did not know the alien council was still watching, analyzing, learning from every human decision, every move, every daring act. "They have changed the rules," said the Gravith commander quietly. "Not by power, not by speed, not by experience, but by creativity, adaptability, and courage. That is what makes them dangerous." The humans, meanwhile, slept under a sky of stars, unaware of their impact. They did not seek fame, glory, or recognition. They only sought survival, mastery, and the strength to face whatever came next. But somewhere far above, the universe's greatest heroes realized that these humans might not just survive, they might change the galaxy itself. And as the desert winds blew over the ridges and canyons, the aliens watched silently, knowing one truth above all: humans were unpredictable. Humans were relentless. And humans were extraordinary. The colony was quiet at first light, the red desert sun burning through the thin haze. Smoke from last night's fires curled lazily into the sky. The humans had survived countless waves of enemy attacks, but today would be the ultimate test. Cass Ranger stepped out of her small shelter, squinting at the horizon. Dust swirled in the air, masking movement. She could feel it. This was not just another skirmish. Something larger was coming. "Morning already?" Jace Holloway groaned, rubbing his eyes. "I swear, these aliens don't know how to rest. They must have sent reinforcements overnight." She had already spotted it. The enemy fleet had arrived. A massive force of mercenaries and drones, more than anything the humans had faced before, was descending from orbit. Ships streaked across the sky like falling stars, landing in strategic positions around the colony. "This is it," Cass said, her voice steady. "We either win or we don't, but we will survive." That's what humans do. The humans spread out quickly, taking positions in natural cover, canyons, rocky outcrops, and the edges of the settlement. They moved silently, like shadows, preparing traps, barricades, and ambush points. Each human knew their role. Each human trusted the other implicitly. Above, the alien council watched from orbit. The Gravith commander's eyes were narrow, filled with a mixture of respect and tension. "They will not only fight," he said quietly. "They will find a way to turn this into victory. I see it in their eyes." The Wildthari, shifting color nervously, added, "They do not fear the impossible." "They embrace it?" muttered the Zarathi strategist. "No species should have this audacity." Below, Cass signaled the first move. "Set the traps and bait them toward the canyons. Let them come to us." The enemy advanced, confident, well-armed, and expecting humans to panic. But humans had learned from every test, every battle, every mistake. Their movements were unpredictable, their timing precise, and their creativity unmatched. As the first wave of mercenaries entered the canyon, ropes and energy pulses triggered hidden traps. Rocks shifted, energy nets dropped, and drones malfunctioned from hidden EMPs set by Jace. The humans did not attack directly. They let the environment work for them. One enemy soldier shouted in alarm, but Cass's team was already moving. Das. Laura Quinn, atop a ridge, fired her sharpshooter rifle with deadly precision, disabling armored exosuits one by one. Other humans flanked from shadows, appearing suddenly where the enemy least expected. The battle raged, but the humans' ingenuity made the difference. They used the desert's natural features, the heat, the dust, the shifting rocks, to slow the enemy and create advantages. When a massive dust storm kicked up, they used it as cover, moving like ghosts through the chaos. The alien council observed, stunned into silence. The Grav commander finally muttered, "They are not just surviving, they are dictating the terms of battle." Cass noticed a new threat, a massive war machine, heavily armed and armored, advancing toward the colony's center. It moved with precision, its weapons capable of destroying everything in seconds. The humans paused, calculating their approach. "This thing is a monster," Jace said, eyes wide. It'll crush us if we hit it head-on," Cass nodded. "Then we don't hit it head-on? We trick it." The humans split into 3 teams. One group, led by Cass, would lure the war machine into the canyon where traps and narrow passages could slow it down. Jace and another team would sabotage its sensors and energy output. The final team, hidden on ridges, would attack the machine's exposed weak points with precision shots. The plan was risky. One misstep, and the war machine could obliterate the humans in the colony. But humans thrived on risk. They thrived on unpredictability. Cass led the charge, running across the sand, dodging energy blasts and debris. She signaled her team to split, confusing the enemy sensors. The war machine followed, its targeting systems locking on. Jace activated his device, sending pulses that disrupted the machine's balance. Sparks flew, and it staggered slightly. Lara fired precise shots at its joints, causing internal damage. Cass's team continued to lead it toward the canyon, where traps awaited. The humans were relentless. Every move was calculated, every action coordinated. They used ingenuity to exploit the war machine's predictable logic, turning its strength against itself. Above, the Gravith commander whispered, "Incredible. Humans are bending reality to their will. They do not fight the way any species has ever fought." The Wildthari's colors shifted wildly. They are rewriting the rules of combat itself. The canyon was their final stage. Hidden spikes, energy nets, and collapsing rock formations triggered one after another as the war machine advanced. Its powerful legs became trapped, its weapons misfired, and the humans' coordinated attacks targeted its weak points. Cass climbed to a high ridge, rifle in hand. She took aim at the machine's energy core, exposed for only a brief moment. With a steady hand and perfect timing, she fired. The shot hit its mark, triggering a chain reaction. Sparks, smoke, and explosions erupted as the war machine collapsed into the canyon, disabled. The enemy forces faltered, leaderless and disorganized. The humans pressed their advantage, driving them back with precise strikes, traps, and clever maneuvers. Every human worked as one unit, moving unpredictably yet with perfect coordination. Finally, silence fell over the battlefield. The sand swirled gently, hiding the traces of combat. The humans, exhausted, battered, and covered in dust, stood victorious. Not because of superior numbers, not because of brute strength, but because of ingenuity, courage, and teamwork. Above, the alien council watched, silent and awestruck. The Gravith commander finally spoke, voice low and full of respect. They have done it. They have survived what should have destroyed them. They are extraordinary. The Wyalthari shimmered. I cannot find words. They have achieved the impossible. The Zarathi strategist, usually so precise, simply nodded. They are humans. And I think we have underestimated them. Terribly. Cass looked at her team, smiling despite the exhaustion. We did it. Not because we're the strongest, but because we never gave up, never stopped thinking, and never stopped trusting each other. Jace laughed, wiping sand from his face.
We made them watch and still didn't break a sweat.
Well, almost. The Gravith commander leaned back, silent for a long moment, staring at the humans below. For the first time in eons, the universe's greatest heroes have been humbled by a single species, he whispered. The humans, unaware of their impact, began helping the colonists repair damage and tend to the wounded. They did not seek glory, they did not seek recognition. They had survived, proven their worth, and shown the galaxy what humans were capable of. Cass looked at the horizon, her eyes thoughtful. The universe will try to challenge us again, she said quietly. But humans survive. And we do it in ways no one expects. Above, the alien council remained silent, observing, recording, and learning. They had witnessed something extraordinary, a species that relied not on strength alone, but on creativity, courage, and adaptability. The Gravith commander finally broke the silence. Prepare the report for the council. These humans, they are not just remarkable. They may be the galaxy's greatest wild card. And they are only beginning. The Yothari shifted colors slowly, a gesture of deep respect. I have seen the impossible become possible. Humans, they are dangerous. Not because of power, but because of heart and mind. The Zarathi strategist nodded. We have underestimated them. We will not make that mistake again. And as the humans rested beneath the desert stars, unaware of the alien gaze, one truth became clear. The universe's greatest heroes had been silenced, humbled, and awed. Humans had survived the impossible. Humans had turned defeat into victory.